Hi again. I want to circle back with you and talk a little bit more about SWIRL. It's the SWIRL method supporting multilingual learners as they speak, write, interact, read, and listen. Those are the five core competencies. And today we're going to talk about writing. And this is one of my passions. I'm an author of about 80 children's books. And I also just really in my classroom when I taught, I made sure that my students felt like they were authors. First graders one year published over 100 books. And those were by far and away the most popular books in our classroom library. We did an author's chair. So, with writing and reading, it's a bit of chicken egg, right? So, what comes first? And I think there's often way more of a focus on reading and teaching kids to read than there is on writing. And then we see, as a consequence of that, that multilingual learners will struggle sometimes more with writing than reading. Book, I talk a lot about rhyming families, and English is not a phonetic language like Spanish and some of the other Latin-based languages. I would definitely encourage you to work a lot with rhyme, especially with newcomers and children who are younger. So for the older students, novels in verse. I have a list in the book of different novels in verse that I recommend by very diverse authors. Teach you in the book exactly how to do interactive journaling by modeling not every word, but one or two words so that their effective filter gets lower. So that you're meeting with students, really getting to know their writing and seeing what they're working on, asking them both about content and mechanics. So grammar, punctuation, and all of those things, and explaining the difference between revising and editing. There's a little tool called the phonics phone that you can order online or just make out of elbow pipe for the younger ones to hear back into their ear. They whisper it and it echoes it really loudly into their ears so they could hear the sounds of the word. I would say 9 times out of 10, kids who've misspelled a word, if they use the phonics phone, they can then hear that sound. For older children, we want to make sure that they're doing peer editing, sort of like critique groups, like we as authors do, where they meet with their peers, read their writing out loud, someone else reads it out loud, they hear comments and feedback. Placemat note taking is another thing for the upper grades, third through 12th grade, can be doing placemat note taking, particularly about expository texts, but you can do it about any type of text. I've written a lot of biographies, over a dozen biographies. So I talk in depth in SWIRL about how to walk students through the process of writing a biography. There are lots of strategies in there, like cooperative strip paragraphs that are GLAD-based type strategies. We also have like dice discussions. So on this kind of, you can buy these at the dollar store. You might write, change the ending. Who's your favorite character? I want to make sure that we're seeing that there's overlap. So even though these are divided out, there's overlap between writing and speaking. For example, in the last video, in the speaking video, we talked about these paint chip vocabulary strips. And you just go to your local hardware store, take some of these are free, and then write the first word to get children started. For example, you might write nice or pretty. And then children have to build up to more tier 3 vocabulary words. So that's our time for writing. Definitely, there's way more details about writing in the SWIRL method. So please get your copy today.